Hey everybody, welcome back for another 16-bit shooting edition of SHOREVIEWKEN, where today we are taking a look at what some people call the greatest 16-bit shooter ever made. And they just might be right, because it's Gaiares on the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis, and if it's not the best 16-bit shooter, it's certainly high in the running. When it was originally released in 1990, it was getting rave reviews and perfect scores from all of the big gaming publications of the day, and with its recent re-release by Retrobit, there's been something of a renewed interest in Gaiares. Well deserved, if you ask me, because I love this game. The story in Gaiares is actually pretty fleshed out when compared to its shooting peers from the early 90s, and it's everything you expect from a game like this. It's set in the far-flung future, there's a war going on between Earth and an army of space pirates, and of course, you are the pilot of an experimental new starfighter and the planet's last hope to fight back against the invading hordes from across the galaxy. Also, there's something about the Earth being hideously polluted and a space federation threatening to blow up the sun if you're not successful, so the stakes could not be higher. Luckily, you've been given control of one of the most badass starships to ever grace a video game. The gameplay in Gaiares is exceedingly simple, even by shoot-'em-up standards, whereas games like Gradius or R-Type feature a ton of different power-ups and customization options. That's all largely absent from Gaiares. The only real power-up in the game is a shield power-up that allows you to absorb a few hits before losing a ship. Instead, all of your weapons powers can be stolen from your enemies via the Taz, which is a little satellite that follows your ship's movement. You deploy it at an enemy, steal their weapon, and boom! A whole new weapon system to enjoy, and the more you do this, the more powerful your weapons become, or at least until you swap it out for something new. Aside from your fire button and Taz button, you also have a button dedicated to changing your ship's movement speed, and that's it. No screen-clearing super bombs, no collectible power-ups, no transforming or altering your ship in any way. It's just you and your wits, and whatever weapon you can take off your enemies. That's all well and good, and the Taz system is a cool gimmick, but what really makes this such a great game is the fact that the gameplay itself, the controls, the challenge, it's all amazing. The controls are so tight, and the gameplay is very smooth and responsive, which is especially important because this game can be very difficult, so there's not much room for error. I myself have played this game off and on for about 2 decades now, and I finally feel like I've gotten pretty decent at it, but yeah, be forewarned. If you've never played this game before, it will kick your ass from pillar to post. The icing on the Gaiares cake are the nice visuals and sound design, which again were eliciting some perfect scores in 1990, and it's easy to see why. Gaiares features some very detailed and colorful stages in a wide variety of settings, and there's a lot of scrolling, various objects flying around in the foreground and background, and some absolutely massive and very elaborate boss battles. Also, the cutscenes sprinkled throughout the game have that classic anime look that is still very pleasing to look at to this day. soundtrack as well is just fantastic. Lots of high energy music and really catchy arrangements to get you into the action, and compared to some of the less impressive sounding Sega Genesis games from the time, Gaiares is something of a masterpiece, so it's no wonder it had GamePro losing their minds at the time. Indeed, whether it's the visuals, the sound design, or the gameplay, Gaiares is definitely one of the best 16-bit shooters ever made, and not even Captain Bad Nasty could argue with that. And she wanted to make pollution nukes, which seems unreasonable anyway. Unless you want the sun to explode, it is your duty to play and beat this game. It is, after all, number one. It's Gaiares, and it's awesome.
Awesome!